Alright, folks. So, if you've gotten this far, you've pretty well mastered the process of balancing chemical equations. Now, that process tends to be pretty easy with practice if you have the formulas in front of you. Now, when you don't have those formulas, and when you have to derive those formulas, that I think has been a skill that's proven to be pretty tough for all of us. So, here's an example of what we call a word equation. And a word equation can take various forms. Either it can take a form like this, where you're simply given the names of the compounds and the words are written out, or it could take the form of a description of a reaction when two elements are combined to form a compound. You'll see an example of that in a little bit. Now, in this particular example, we have zinc 2 fluoride combining with calcium nitrate to form zinc 2 nitrate and calcium fluoride. So we have basically a situation where some ions are switching places to form new products. So, we've already taken care of step 2 because we have the reactants on the left and the products on the right. However, what we have to make sure we do is, I'm going to switch to red here, is we have to get the correct formulas for the elements and compounds. So, as I've been encouraging you to do in class throughout this week and perhaps the week before, you have to write out the formulas for the ions before you can get the correct formula. So do it. I'm not going to judge you if you have to keep writing out the formulas for these ions. So, zinc 2. The 2 in zinc 2 means that we have a positive 2 charge. So I'm going to write that there. And then fluoride, based on your periodic table, has a charge of positive or negative 1. So when we take these and we crisscross those numbers and make them the subscripts, we have ZnF2. So that's our first formula, and then we have calcium nitrate. Calcium, as you know, is something with a positive 2 charge. Then you have NO3 for nitrate. And again, if you didn't know that, you could look it up for now. So we've got our two ions, and now we need to put them together. Positive 2, negative 1, same kind of thing we saw before. Ca, and this time NO3 in parentheses, 2. So that's the left side of our equation. Now we need to write out the right side. We have zinc 2 again. We have nitrate again, same 2 that we had on the other side. We'll crisscross those, and we have ZnNO3, 2. And finally, calcium fluoride, and I should write that up here first. Calcium has a positive 2 charge, fluorine has a negative 1. We crisscross them, and calcium fluoride has a formula of CaF2. So, step 2 is a check. Step 1 is a check. Now we have to make a grid to keep track of the elements. And again, as you're getting used to the process of balancing equations, please, 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 please use this method. Even if you think you're all that, you're going to make mistakes if you don't keep track of your atoms. So, you have zinc here. You have fluoride, you have calcium, and I'm going to go ahead and count the nitrate ions as a unit since they do appear on both sides. So let's count. Even if you think things are good, you still need to make sure you keep track of things. So if we look at our formula, we have 1 zinc ion on the left and 1 zinc ion on the right. We have 2 fluorides on the left and also 2 fluorides on the right. We have 1 calcium on each side. And finally, we have 2 nitrates on each side. Well, looky there. It appears that we have a balanced equation already. Sometimes you're going to luck out and you're going to have a balanced equation. But you won't know that until you get the correct formula. So again, this step right here, so vitally important to make sure you get the correct formulas before you balance the equation. A lot of people, when they're starting out with this, will try to make up formulas to make the equation work really easily. It's not that easy. You have to make sure to get the correct formulas before you do anything. So that's the deal with word equations, guys. That is a pretty easy concept if A, you're pretty good at balancing equations, and B, you're pretty good at naming compounds. And I think we're all a lot better at that at this point than we were this time last week. So I hope that helps. Enjoy.